This game was played about a week ago, 5 or 6 days ago, something like that, and I was black and I was playing against a very strong computer chess engine named Rybka. And I've seen this first move many times against several chess engines, H3, and it looks very strange. It's not really easy to respond to that. I mean, normally a move like E5, D5, or C5 or something like that against a human will make it a lot easier to make that decision, but H3 is really a strange move. And so I played C6, just making a move in the center, maybe with ideas like D5 or knight F6 or something. Rybka played E4, and of course I could have played D5 here, but I chose to play knight F6 just to get a piece out, and also of course if D5, then perhaps even E5, and then knight is kind of difficult to get out. Of course I could have played E6 in that case, but you know, it's a little bit easier to get the knight out right away. So knight F6, E5, knight D5, C4, and this really reminds of the Alekhine defense, the advanced Alekhine defense. Sometimes, of course, with the move F4 and of course D4, but it's within those lines anyway. Knight C7, D4, and it looks like black is pushed back, cramped, and doesn't really have much of a game. But on the other hand, white has pushed his pawns far up the board, as well as making the very strange move H3. And black hasn't really done any concessions anywhere, no unnecessary pawn moves on the king's side, only the move C6. So I think black is okay here, but of course against chess engine you just never know. So I played D5, and white could have played an en passant, e takes D, but he didn't do that. He played knight F3, just developing a move. And now we can also see, of course, that the move H3 stops ideas moves like bishop G4, and that's of course the main idea with that, I guess, with that move H3, although he does lose some tempo. So I play bishop F5 just to get the bishop out, because I want to play E6 my next move, to get the bishop out and then close the pawn chain. Bishop E2, E6, queen B3. Of course attacking my pawn on B7 now, when my bishop has moved to F5 and can't get back. And even of course if it could get back, it's just it just loses time. So I play queen C8, knight H4, bishop G6, castles, bishop E7, knight takes G6, H takes G6, and C5. A little bit unusual for a computer, I guess. Usually computers prefer open games, and often, of course, the move C5, the game is kind of closed, at least on the queen side. So I develop a piece, knight D7, queen C2, knight B8. Of course I could have also played knight F8, and then perhaps a move like queen D7 and castle queen side, but I just want to wait before making moves like that, because we can still see that the queen side is at least semi-open here. I mean, we can play B4, A4, or even sacrifice a pawn or something. And of course, castling here is probably okay, but then he has a target, or it has a target, which would be my king side right away. But since my king is still in the center here, there's really nothing to attack. With that in mind, I'll just play knight B8, bishop B3, and here bishop B6. Of course, the move knight B8 also protects my pawn on C6, often the move b6, b4, and here I just close things off. b5, a5, a4, a6, and after the move a5, I immediately realized that my next I would try to cast a queen side, and my king would be completely safe on the queen side. Knight d7, knight c3, queen b7, preparing the queen side, castling. Bishop f3, castles queen side, bishop g4, and here are a bunch of moves basically started with that don't make much sense. Of course, if this had been a game between two humans, both would have agreed on a draw right here, I suppose. But this was, of course, as I said, against a computer chess engine, and they don't really offer draws or resign. Depends on how it's being set up, of course, but usually that's the case. So after king b8, bishop f4, king a8, just moving my king away, just taking no chances whatsoever. You just never know, maybe a sacrifice on d5 or b4, b5, you just never know, then perhaps a pawn push. So it's better to take no chances at all. So king e8, queen d2, rook d8, queen e3, king b8, and here I just started repeating moves because there's just nothing to do here. And if we look at Rybka's moves here, queen f3, it's just trying to, you know, my king is on the same diagonal here. So again, I took no chances. King a7, just getting away from that. Even of course there was no way in the world that diagonal or something could have caused problems, but again, you know, it's a strong computer chess engine, so why take any chances? So I'll just move my king away. Bishop g3, attacking my pawn on f7. I'm protected with my rook. And again, we see the queen is just on the same diagonal. It's not a threat. So, but I moved my king away anyway. Rook d1, queen d8. And here we just started repeating moves. Nothing going on. No trades, nothing. And of course this was completely drawn 10 moves ago. Well, let's just play through these moves anyway. And if we look at the computer moves, how the computer moves, I mean, the moves are just totally unnecessary. And that was the last move in the game. 6 to 7 moves, and the game ended in a draw. So let's take a look at the opening one more time. h3, c6, e4, knight f6. A sort of, like I said, advanced Alekhine defense. Knight f3, bishop f5, bishop e2, e6, queen b3, queen c8, and so on. This was had no particular opening ECO code because it didn't really follow any particular opening. So although h3 is a real move, but since I played c6, I think it kind of went out of book right away. Okay, I hope you enjoy this little clip on a game that I played against Rybka 5 or 6 days ago. Bye bye.